I was just reading that you're against the stimulus, or a second stimulus, well, both stimuluses.
Both.
The one that happened.
Stimuli.
Stimuli.
Yeah.
What about a job stimulus? There's a lot of talk now, both the Republican camps and Democratic camps, of approaching the need to create jobs with a stimulus. What do you think needs to be done there?
I think the best way to create jobs is what I propose is to eliminate the capital gains tax on all investments made in 2010. What that will do is unleash trillions of dollars of new investment. New businesses will be started, entrepreneurs will start businesses, existing businesses will hire people, millions of new jobs will be created, and we'll be out of the recession by the end of the year.
One of the ideas that's being floated, it's being billed as a bipartisan idea, is giving a tax break to employers to hire during this period.
Bad idea. Tax credits really don't work. The key is to incent people to invest on the margin, that marginal dollar. Democrats like tax credits, but tax credits just on your own 1040. You don't get to the tax credit to like line 74, 75. By then, all the deductions and exemptions have been analyzed. You need to bring the tax break up on the 1040, like on the first page before line 35, and that's where you get the incentive.
Do you think our workforce, I mean the workforce basically, American workforce, whether it's in Detroit, whether it's in Boston, are well positioned for the, say, the 21st century? Is there anything in terms of training or education or things like that can be done, should be done, or does the federal government really not have a, what kind of role should they play or could they play?
Well, that's a broader question. What role should the federal government play in education?
Yeah. Or job training.
Well, education as little as possible, although by setting standards. And I do agree with the President's Race to the Top program. But other than that, and then providing some funding, I think the federal government should stay out of it. In terms of job, work training, I was actually in Springfield last week.
Week before Thanksgiving.
Met with FutureWorks. That's a job placement. About half of their people get jobs. A quarter of their placements are ex-cons. The woman who's the executive director, Jean Picard, I believe, she says that she's got double the number of people and half the budget. So that's where the federal government can play a role in terms of job creation, is to helping entities and organizations like that.
After the so-called Robinson Report was released,
that's the name of our campaign blog.
Well, I'm referring to the 11-page document when you sort of threw everything out there. The Republican Party sort of parted ways with you. You lost support. Then Republican Governor Paul Cellucci also, he also withdrew his support. How is your relationship today with the Republican Party?
It's been the same as it's been since the day I was born. I've been a Republican all my life. I'm a sixth-generation Republican, and I'm always going to be a Republican. Sure, we have arguments within the party. I'm not the party's choice from an establishment standpoint now. Scott Brown, my opponent, is clearly the establishment candidate, but Republican voters are different from the people who run the party itself, so we'll see what happens on Tuesday. But from everything we can get, in terms of a sense what's going on, we're resonating both with Republicans and independents, and Republican-leaning independents, which is a key voting bloc for us.
Have you spoken to the Republican Party either at the state or the national level?
Yeah. I mean, they know we're running. We haven't asked them for support, if that's what you're getting at. No, we're not.
Well, along those lines, I noticed that you've come out with the first Republican or Democrat sort of negative campaign ad.
Really?
The Rhino ad, Republican in name only.
Oh, that's, we're using his voice. I don't consider that negative. It's all his words. He said it.
How would you characterize yourself within the Republicans, ultra-conservative, conservative, liberal, moderate?
I am a Teddy Roosevelt progressive Republican. In the Teddy Roosevelt Ed Brooke mold. I'm a fiscal conservative, and I really am a fiscal hawk, but I'm also progressive. For example, I support gay marriage. Scott Brown opposes it. I support cleaning up the environment. Scott Brown is against the cap and trade bill, as I am, but he doesn't have any proposals to clean it up. And you can go down a list of a litany of issues where I'm a progressive, much more progressive voice, and I think that's going to be the strength of my service in the Senate. Because as a progressive Republican, I can moderate that conservative Republican caucus. At the same time, I can leverage the moderates and conservatives on the Democratic side, so when it comes time to vote, no one will know how I'm going to vote till the last minute. So that means I can horse trade like old Brett Maverick and deliver the bacon to Massachusetts. So that's where the real strength is. My opponent will just go down to be an automaton, a puppet for Mitch McConnell, and that's really not going to help Massachusetts.